Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Dukes and Bell brought to you by Kia. For more info, visit atlkia.com. I'm Carl Dukes. He's Mike Bell. We will waste no time in saying hello to our friend John Smoltz, who joins us. Of course, he is currently on Fox Sports South as a baseball analyst. Smoltzy, what's going on, man? How are you?
Covering from the old Lake Tahoe debacle.
Ha! Uh-oh, you were out there at the celebrity event, which at least you didn't get tackled by A.J. Hawk.
No, I didn't, but, if every year I can't wait to get out there, and every year I can't wait to beat the tar out of myself for not doing as well as I think I can do.
How'd you play, man?
Well, I played okay. I think I finished 5th or 6th, but once again, just not physically able to answer the bell, and it's just frustrating because I really love that event. It's an event I can win, and it's such a challenge on the greens that I've yet to even come close to mastering it yet.
It's a future Hall of Famer, John Smoltz, with us here on 92.9 The Game, and we'll talk some Braves in just a sec. But while we're on the subject of golf, John, your buddy Tiger Woods, I mean, do you take some solace the fact that he was able to at least compete at the British Open, or do you think it's a long shot for him to compete at the PGA and maybe win it?
Well, certainly, the longer this goes, the more people are going to question whether or not he will. I still maintain he will. It's a process like everything else. I don't care how great you are or were and the stretches that you go through. When you're out of it for a while and you don't compete at that level, it's kind of like, ironically, Annika played in the event, and everyone expected her to win hands down, and so did I. It's just the rust of not playing in competitive golf and her thinking that it's just like riding a bike, and it was fun to have her in the event, and everybody seemed to be playing for second, but it didn't work out for her to win it, even though she finished tied for second.
John Smoltz here with us on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Your take on the Braves coming off the break, not just, last night's loss, but specifically how you feel about this team. I mean, one of the things we've been searching for is the identity of this particular Braves team. I don't know if you know what it is, John. What do you think?
Well, I don't like to use the word frustration because anytime you're a half game or a game out of first, you can't use the word frustration, but it's complexing. It's a complex situation where they don't seem to have consistency offensively for one reason or the other, and yet their pitching has been really good. They're still in the mix. I don't know if they're going to add anybody or do anything, but the fact that they have overcome so many of the injuries, as a lot of teams have done, they put themselves in the mix, so you can't really be upset about that. I think the thing that goes and starts running is when you're having great pitching performances and they get lost. You don't win those games. You got to really find a way to win the games where your starters only give up 1 run or less, and that's really been the only thing I could say this year has been they've lost some games they definitely should have won, and then of course you always have your array of games where they come back and win a game you're not supposed to. But going down the stretch, if they can find some consistency in their offense, then you got to like their chances to compete in the division and possibly the wild card.
That was a problem for Julio Teheran not getting the run support. I know when Tommy Glavine was with the Mets, John, and he was going for the 300th win, same thing. They wouldn't score any runs. Did you ever have a run with your history with the Braves where you were just killing it, but they weren't doing anything for you offensively?
Oh, man, I had a few more than I would have liked. Every pitcher goes through them. I remember one year when Glavine was 14 and something. I was 14 and 7. We're both kind of going for the Cy Young. He went on to win 6 or 7 more games. I won 1. And it just was one of those deals where, you couldn't find a win. You couldn't get lucky, and it just falls in that slot. Sometimes that happens. And then, of course, in 96, everything went my way, and I won 24 games and got the runs I needed and the saves I needed. And those kind of things just all came in one year, so I'm grateful for that. But, yeah, I mean, there was a 4 out of 5 game stretch where we didn't get a run in the games that I pitched. And you just have to find a way to keep your head about you so that every time you're out there in that 5th day, you're prepared to pitch. And lo and behold, there'll be that day where they get you 6 and you give up 7. You're going to feel like a mule. So you always have to be prepared to do your part. You can't control the other part.
Smoltzy, what did you think about the release of Dan Uggla?
Well, unfortunately, it probably was coming. It's not something that you ever want to do. You don't really want to eat a contract. You always hope that the player can turn it around and be in position to help your team. And, for Dan, at least, he's going to get a new break and see if he can resurrect his career. It's never a great situation. I played 21 years, and I had hoped to never be released, and I got released, and rightfully so, at the end there with Boston. But it's something not one organization can escape. I don't think there's one that has escaped it. When you project something to happen and you play it out in your mind and you give the contract in a way that you think it's going to go, and then it doesn't go that way, it's tough.
With all the injuries, John, that we see as John Smoltz, future Hall of Famer, joins us here on 92.9 The Game. Glavine going in with Mad Dog, of course, Bobby Cox as well. You pitched a few more years, so you can't be in this class. But will we ever see this kind of staff again? Because young guys, old guys, all the arms are breaking these days.
No, it's impossible. I mean, even if they all magically stayed healthy, we're not going to see it. Nobody's going to stay that long with one current team. The financial restraints and issues that, when you think about the three of us in today's world, would never work. Financially, it just couldn't have that kind of salaries on one team. We were able to stick together for a long period of time. And, for me, fortunately, I was able to stay where I wanted to, although be it change positions and go to the bullpen. But I thought that even when I was in the bullpen, I would save Glavine's 300th and Maddox's 300th. I was really looking forward to that. But that, unfortunately, that didn't happen. They both ended up leaving, and I was in the bullpen.
John Smoltz, give us some thoughts on your former teammates now getting an opportunity on Sunday to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and what it's going to mean for you. Where are you going to be, by the way?
I'm going to be there. I get the double pleasure of working the event for MLB Network, and then, of course, taking in all the sights and sounds that I've never had a chance in my entire life to watch, because I've either been playing on Sunday when the Hall of Fame's going or broadcasting on Sunday. This year I won't be broadcasting any games on Sunday, and I really am looking forward to it. Had I not even been working for the network, I would have found my way there and taken in all the events, and really can't think of another day of anticipation that I could imagine would be greater than this. I mean, look, I knew my two teammates are going to go in the Hall of Fame, and I mean, that's a no-brainer, and they deserve everything they're going to get. But what really put the icing on the cake for me is the manager. I played for him for 20 years, and I understand everything he went through, all the criticism he took, and just the mileage that he had put on in his career has got to be the greatest single moment for Bobby Cox. Because, let's face it, we put him in position. He put us in position to do some special things, and we didn't deliver but one time, and that's just going to be the way it is. But 14 straight divisions this man led his teams to, never be broken, never be duplicated, and certainly speaks for itself.
John Smoltz with us here on 92.9 The Game. Some of the conversations, and the way this is silly sports talk fodder, John, or you can talk about it. If the Wallers pitch to Leyritz doesn't happen, does the trajectory change for the organization? Winning a 96 series, does that change the legacy as well?
No doubt. I maintain and will go to my grave knowing we would have won 4 of the next 5 just like the Yankees did. You think about it, our team drastically changed after that. And for obvious reasons, we didn't win a World Series. But had we won that World Series and gone back-to-back, I just maintain that I don't think we would have changed. I don't know how you could have changed that much. And so when you think about the run we were in, and we were oh so close in 91 and 92, and of course 93 was really upsetting, losing to the Phillies, because I thought we had the best team. But in 96, when you're up 2-0, and you think about what could happen, you play that series another 10 times, you're going to win it 9 at the very least. That changes the direction the organization is viewed. It changes the direction in which the players that were either traded or not re-signed would have been viewed, and I think that's what the Yankees took advantage of. The Yankees had done nothing really up until that point. And then all of a sudden they become the team of the decade, and they roll off 4 out of 5, and the rest is history.
Former Braves pitcher, future Hall of Famer, and current Fox Sports South baseball analyst John Smoltz joining us. Carl Dukes, Mike Bell. It's Dukes and Bell in Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. John, what happened July 23rd, 1988? Do you know where you were?
Do I know where I was?
First game
I believe I was at Shea Stadium. Was that right?
No, keep going.
Stadium, and I ended up getting the time of my life in front of 43,000 people and winning a game and against a really good Mets team. I'll never forget that game, that moment, and the rest of the season did. But that single moment, winning my almost a sold-out. And I think about the ties between the Mets are so incredible. There's so many different things, whether it's, I think my 200th win was against the Mets. I know it was because it was against Tommy 2-1. I'm not sure if my 100th win was against the Mets. The National League record saves was against the Mets. There's a lot of history that took place in New York, and I'll never forget that moment.
Yeah, I guess, Chipper named his kid. You could name a dog Shea, I guess.
No, I'm not going to go that far.
Hey, John, bringing it full circle before we cut you loose, as future Hall of Famer John Smoltz with us here on 92.9 The Game. You're Frank Wren, trade deadline coming up. What would be the number one priority for you if you could cut a deal for the Bravos?
Well, that's interesting because they're in position with some of the players that they've locked up long term that doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room. But I always view this, and this is the hard part the fans don't understand. If you have an opportunity to sustain a good run for a longer period of time, then you don't pull that major triggered trade. If you think you're at the kind of the end of your run, then you cash your chips in and you try to go for that one championship. The Marlins did it twice. I don't think that's what they want in Atlanta, although, we do want another championship like every other team does. And I think if the scenario's there where they can go get a difference maker, and I don't think this is going to happen, but I'm just using it as an example, a David Price or a John Lester or somebody where a team's not going the direction they thought, that you can change the whole makeup of your ball club, then it's worth it. Or if you can get that elite hitter that is a lot more scarce these days, then it's worth it. But it'll be interesting to see because the pieces are there for success in Atlanta. It just hasn't materialized because guys haven't lived up to some of the expectations. So that's the tough part of being a general manager when you assess your situation and you go, all right, we're stuck with this or we've got this scenario. How do we improve? What are we looking to get? The bullpen, I think, is outstanding. And you can always add an arm in the bullpen, but I think it's outstanding. But I think where you can make a difference is because Julio Teheran is the elite now one pitcher that you've had and wanted and can bank on. If there's another guy out there that you can get because pitching wins, then maybe you take a hard look and you might have to give up a youngster or two. And that's the old golf and not the unknown right there.
John, you're the best. Enjoy Sunday, my friend, and we appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Smoltz.
Have a good one.
John Smoltz here on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Get in the game on Twitter at 929 The Game.
On Facebook /929 The Game.
On YouTube /929 The Game.
On your phone, the free Audio Roadshow app.
The website 929thegame.com.
Watch the game. Watch 929thegame.com.
And listen at 929thegame.com.
Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.